personnel, Valley Point, Echo immediately.
We got these 4 lenses up the wall with support units. Looks mostly like LRM launches.
Sigma Lead, this is Sigma 2. Any idea what we're up against?
Well-equipped strike forces. Probably the 5th Donegal.
That's my old unit. Why would our own forces attack us?
It was inevitable. Everything has changed.
And with another use of footage of a game I haven't played yet, welcome to War of the Dunces.
Woo!
And today we're covering more Battletech.
More big giant robots.
Yep. And so speaking of giant robots, our topics, because Jenkins wanted to, we're talking about Mechs.
Woo! I like giant
So
robots.
unlike last time, I couldn't get the time.
Oh, you're
set up
roboting.
a PowerPoint.
You're roboting.
You're roboting, man.
Oh,
Never mind.
all right.
You're good now.
Am I good?
Oh, now you're good. Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, so last time I wasn't able to set up a PowerPoint. I did set up notes, so it will be somewhat structured. So
Alright.
first we need to talk about is what are battle mechs?
What are they?
They are giant war machines that are roughly humanoid, though some can be spider. They're called quad. There's different. Oh, I didn't put in chassis types, but anyway, they are giant robots that can operate in pretty much any environment, and they are the primary weapons of Battletech. There are ground vehicles and ground forces, but battle mechs are your primary force multiplier. And the warriors who drive them are called mech warriors, and they are essentially the knights of the setting.
Ah.
Yeah. So,
Alright.
so that's like the brief. Now we have to go into the history, right? So, what do you remember of the last time we talked about it?
Not much, admittedly. That's my fault, though.
All right. So, in the year 2020, when the world united under one world government,
Roboting again.
Oh,
robotic.
robot. Alright, you're good now.
So in the year 2020, when the world united under one world government, meanwhile, General Motors made a self-sufficient fusion or fission engine, a nuclear engine.
Probably fusion.
Yeah, and they patented it a year later, and it becomes the basis of like new technologies to. It allows basically the setting to expand upon the stars. Of course, one of the major centers. And
That
for
still amazes me.
centuries,
General Motors.
Yep.
People behind the car company, like people like behind like Chevy and stuff. We helped innovate giant robots.
Yeah, the company that went bankrupt and was bailed out by the government managed
Help
to
build giant robots.
and is still around in the setting of Battletech.
Beautiful.
Mwah. Yes.
So you can tell this is a fictional world. General Motors is still kicking.
Not the 20-party, the world united under one government. Anyway, so for centuries, when humanity come across the stars and stuff, the primary way to wage war was with warships.
All right.
So the thing, space battleship Yamato. or like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have big capital ships that contain various armaments, including nukes.
Woo!
Yeah, they liberally used nukes during their wars, and at some point, when the Great Houses were forming, all the border planets they kept on switching hands, and occasionally nuking part of a planet, to take out a military target. And
Just
usually, what
casually nuke a
happens is
planet.
that they literally just go nukes is just another tool in our arsenal, and usually what happens is that they deem that we can't defend it, we'll leave, and then we can reconquer this, so we're gonna fight them. So these border planets kept on switching flags. That is until one planet was a victim of a war between the Compelling Confederation and the Free Worlds League, where they both decided, we're gonna actually fight, and thus the planet Tentavel became the victim of World War One. So think trenches. Think of like the. Have you seen 1917?
Yes, I have. I saw it in IMAX. It was
Imagine
a
that way
wonderful experience.
across the entire planet. Yeah. Imagine that wasteland across the entire planet by the end of it. So they blew up. They basically destroyed an entire world. This led all of the great houses going, "Oh crap! We need to make rules," and thus they made the Ares Conventions, which then made the rule books of like, okay, you can't nuke planets.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you need to have certain rules, like you can't nuke planets, you can't do war crimes on civilians. The basic human stuff that we learned in the 21st century, the 20th and the 21st century.
We have to reestablish the Geneva Convention, but for space.
Yeah, except we need to make it cooler, so we put in the Greek war god. But anyway, so what this does is that warships are now more limited in use. They are still in use in warfare, but they're now not as strong suited. So what happens is that weapons technology went from making bigger and better warships into focusing on trying to innovate on the ground. And this drive of innovation was further pushed by the Terran hegemony, which is Earth and all the core planets around Earth. At this point, it would later become Comstar. So, you were about to ask?
No, I was just taking a breath. Don't worry.
Okay, in fact, they, instead of being like a nation that's trying to control multiple territories and try to be the power through like expansion, they wanted to go for technology. So they basically forced all the companies on Earth to work to build technology exclusively for them or be liquidated. They went all they went all dictatorship.
Beautiful.
They nationalized the weapons industry.
That's exactly what we always wanted to see. Excuse me.
So, but hey, they got it. Basically, all the companies got infinite money now to make whatever weapons they want. So it drives their technology. And during this time, a scientist who goes by the name of Dr. Gregory Atlas makes a new type of fiber called myomer, which think of muscle, but for cables.
All right.
So he ends up building artificial muscle, which then was incorporated later to make industrial mechs or work mechs. Which is like so it's like the first generation of mechs, very similar, a more advanced versions of the mech from Aliens,
Ah.
but for construction. So it's like bigger. It's still big, like as like a battle mech, but its primary purpose is construction stuff.
Ah.
And easy to use. And there's a bunch of other technologies like gyrospheres, which allows the mech to balance, special sensors so that the pilot can just wear a ridiculous helmet setup so that they can actually can control technology with their minds. I just throw in an image of a mech warrior to show you the helmet.
All right.
On that. So you see what it looks like?
Ah. All right.
And you see like the early generation of
Yeah, that is a chainsaw.
Yep. A humongous chainsaw. So what happens is that during this time, one of the Camerons who ruled the Terran hegemony, which is the Terran hegemony is ruled by House Cameron, and one of them is named Jacob Cameron, and he was like this young upstart Cameron, whose father's name is Richard. Not that Richard Cameron in the Mars Civil War, but another one who died in mysterious circumstances. And but Jacob wanted to prove himself. He had some failures, so he decided we need to make something cool, something so I could be remembered by, So thus, with all this funding, the creation of the first battle mech.
Woo!
And it was called the Mackie.
Okay.
The Mackie.
Yeah, it.
I'm gonna destroy my enemies. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So what the Mackie? So the Mackie, if we compare it to other mechs, is a horrible mech. It's literally just a prototype. But what happened was that they tested out. It did spectacular. It literally teabagged the 4 test tanks they used it against. And then they kept it a secret. And then they unleashed the lance on a battle. And once everyone realized that, mechs are a thing, they all went, I want it! I want one! And then it took a couple Steiners to take the first blueprints, and then one sold a copy to Davion, stolen by the Compellans. No. Actually, Karita stole a copy of the plans. The Free World Leagues had a scientist defect from the Steiner League, and then the Compellans did the same to the Free World League.
All right.
But that's not important. The important part is Mackies everyone has a Mackie.
And you get a
have a
Mackie.
Mackie. You get a Mechie. Everyone gets Mechies. And then, of course, once you
Woo!
have a new technology, people start innovating, making new models to,
Woo!
one up
Arms
the Mechie. And then,
race. Let's go.
yeah, the military complex. The military industrial complex. Here we go.
Woo!
And it continued because these companies, they got free money.
Mm.
Like, they literally just the houses were just paying off the companies that they own to just build new versions of mechs. And then even when all the nations combined together to make Star League,
Mm-hmm.
that just made it worse because now there's an infinite supply of money.
Ah. Money printer go burr.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a money putter go burr, and they make a whole bunch of designs that resulted in a lot of crappy mechs.
Mm.
But that all changed when the Mars attacked, and the Mars Civil War happened. That destroyed a lot of factories. But then, after that whole grind fest, half of the Star League, about like half to three quarters of the Star League's leftover Star League Defense Force just goes, see ya, and went off to space somewhere.
Bye.
Never to be seen again. Yeah, pretty much. They just went, bye.
Bye.
And they took all their advanced, super advanced Star League tech with them.
Hmm.
And then what happened afterwards is that all the great houses did the succession wars for the next couple centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, just imagine World War I and World War II. You know what happened to Europe after World War I and World War II, right?
Wasn't really in a good state, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they basically bombed themselves back to the Industrial Revolution. Well, the closest thing you can with it's the closest you can to Industrial Revolution while still having space empires.
Oh, fun.
Like, in short, technology is on the decline. Like, they can't build any more new mechs. They're just refitting old ones, so mechs are more valuable than actual human beings.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. That's where, like, the original game was set in during these horrible wars.
Mm.
But then, when they released fiction, there's the first trilogy was called the Great Death Legion trilogy, and that trilogy ended with the Great Death Legion discovering something on the planet Helm. Spoilers for book 3. But this is important for the lore of the unit of Battletech. They discovered a memory core of Star League. A memory core is essentially, think of a USB drive, but it's shape of an orb.
Okay.
Like, so they just found a big hard drive full of a lot of old Star League tech. And by the way, when they bombed themselves back to the Stone Age, it wasn't just weapons tech. Every tech level.
Woo!
So they went back from being able to put people in vats to heal them up to just having pills.
Ah, wonderful.
And using leeches.
We went back to leeches?
No, that was a joke.
Oh, okay. I was.
I don't know. Comstar might be doing that somewhere.
But they're special technology leeches.
Of course. Leeches. Don't forget that this giant lucky leech they'll help you fix the motors on this battle mech easier.
Yes, you see, the HP network cannot be repaired. Your internet cannot be repaired without doing these special ritual involving you putting these leeches on your nipples.
Alright.
Yeah, but so with the Hell Memory Core, technology went back up. So new mechs were coming out now. So they like refitted old ones to make them better, or they made brand new ones based on the old technology. And then the Starlink Defense Force that left earlier, all those centuries ago, came back.
Hi, guys.
But as the clans.
Ah.
Those eugenicists clanners. So what happened, because this is important, because some of the new technology affects the current setting when they showed up. The Starlink Defense Force that went on their exodus, and they found the Kerensky cluster, so a bunch of planets. They had their own mini, they had their own mini succession war.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, these veterans of a long civil war who left because they were tired of war
Had another war.
to war with each other.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and so Alexander Kerensky, who is like the Chad Kerensky, died at the beginning of this. Very depressed. Very sad. And then his failure of a son took over. Well, he succeeded in his goal, but he's still a failure, in my opinion. So he tried to unite everyone under one banner. Failed. So he decided, you know what? The old Starlink is... Okay, basically, he united the clans under their eugenist, Mao-inspired warrior culture BS. So with that, they kind of had a brief war, and now it became the golden century where everything is done by one-on-one honor duels. So basically, the South in the 1700s.
The South shall rise again.
Yes, and so, but their big thing is that they were allowed to advance their technology a lot better than the Inner Sphere. Where the Inner Spheres, they got the Hell Memory Core about 40 years before the clans showed up. The clans had like one big war when they went to the currency culture, but then they had centuries of peace, quote unquote. Quote unquote peace. Yeah, there's some conflicts and some massacres and all that other jazz.
Some massacres. It's just a little massacre, you know. A lot of people die, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
Look, it's complicated. The clans are definitely getting their own episodes, and I'm gonna cringe when I'm gonna be talking about them.
Okay.
But anyway, so
something really funny about it's just a tiny little massacre. Don't worry about it, though. Yeah, a lot of people die, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a little massacre, but that's Battletech. A little massacre is just normal. Like everyone's literally M. Bison from the Street Fighter movie.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's like, for you today, that day, the death of your father and your entire city and planet was like the most important day in your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. So the clients showed up with way more advanced tech because they had enough peace to advance on the tech tree faster. But hey, once they got their butts handed to them by a phone company, their tech proliferated throughout the Inner Sphere. So now tech is going back up.
Woo!
And then the Jihad in the Dark Age happened. Tech went back down a lot because
there was a Jihad.
Yes, Comstar essentially Comstar split into two. a secular
Uh-huh.
Comstar and a Jihadi Comstar, and Jihadi Comstar unleashed all the nukes.
What are they jihading about though? Like,
That's we will have to talk about it with the Comstar stuff.
okay.
Essentially, Comstar. Just to remind you, Comstar were playing everyone for chumps.
Mm-hmm.
Their plan was literally I was playing on both sides so I could come up on top.
Right.
That was their overarching plans, and the Jihadi Comstar were just balding over failing.
Oh.
They were literally balding.
I see.
But now we're in the current era. Technology was going back up.
Hmm.
By the way, that's a lot of summarizing about
Ah. All right.
about what can Mechs do, and
Mm-hmm.
oh boy, you could. There's a lot. Even with that big little brief of history, there's like tons of stuff to talk about. That
Oh.
is not tied to mech development.
I think this is literally the word of Blake's art.
Ah. All right. All right then. Wow. This world seems like shit.
All right. Let me just.
This world is not cool. This world is too cool. I might have to heat it up.
I need to throw a mech. I need to throw a special equipment,
Mm.
aka nukes.
Woo!
So I would say so. For this next part, I did throw into our chat
Mm.
some stuff about what you see inside the cockpit of a battle mech,
All right.
and also you see the various guns you can fire. So let's just start with the cockpit. So what are kind of the systems that you would encounter if you were a mech warrior? So of course you got a hatch. There's some things I don't know exactly, but there's a lot of intuitive stuff. Like you got a navigation computer, you got ammo display, you got targeting computer, you got your controls,
Mm-hmm.
auxiliary throttle. Like it looks like your standard sci-fi spaceship looking thing.
Yeah.
And like perfectly 80s. And by the way, you are still wearing ridiculous helmets. But I think at this point, I'm not. At this point, the helmets are not as ridiculous. They're now more like modern, like fighter pilot helmets.
Gosh, so many monitors.
Yeah. You gotta keep track of it, and not to mention you got your heads-up display that you have on your helmet because of the systems that allows you to hook your. What the neural helmets does is that it scan your brain waves and apply it to the mech. So your mind and the mech are working hand in hand, like biosensors.
All right. All right.
So every time you're doing the control stuff, you're feeling the impact of the weapons against you. It would be lessened because you're a human being as opposed to giant robots, but and giant robots are very tough. But it basically allows you that ability to control the machine more. Oh yeah, so a major element that you have to think about, even in the game, is heat. So running that machine and firing all the weapons heats up that mech a lot.
Oh.
Like, in fact, during the Succession War, it was very common to strip in your underwear while driving a mech.
Huh.
Yeah, because it gets so hot.
Hmm.
And that's like with a normally functioning mech. I'm not sure if that element of the setting is still carried over to the current era,
All right.
but definitely during Succession Wars, that was a common practice.
Hmm.
And so you got that stuff going on, and then of course we could talk about guns, right?
Hmm.
Who doesn't like to talk about guns? So of course you got missile launchers. Of course you're gonna shoot various rockets. You got SRMs, which are short range missiles, and then you got LRMs, long range missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you got your machine guns, so you could do your Vulcan action. So another thing about the way the weapons work inside Battle Mechs as opposed to Gundam,
All right.
the weapons are actually built inside the mechs in ways that are very similar to the way the Vulcans are incorporated.
Hmm.
Like all the weapons. So you have like guns on the hands, but it's not like they grip on the guns, they are strapped to the arms.
Hmm.
Like Deadshot, or they have guns in the chest that is just incorporated into the design.
Like the Gundam Mechs.
Hmm.
And yeah, and like there's very few guns that looks like it's gripping something. Like the Battle Master is the closest one in my top of my head, where it looks like he's actually holding a gun. Most of the time, if they incorporated like a big gun, they just make that the arm. Just to emphasize that they're more like giant tanks
Mm-hmm.
than like fast moving mechs. Then you got lasers. Of course, you got various lasers. They tend to be the one in like the chest area. Some of them are even put on the back for some back protection.
All right.
And like machine guns are like mainly used for anti-infantry, as you can probably guess. A Gauss rifle.
Gauss rifle.
Yep, they
Okay.
shoot magnets. Boom.
Woo. It's like a railgun.
Yep, it is. That's what a Gauss rifle is. It's a railgun.
All right.
They just fire a huge railgun. And then you got flamers. So what the flamers' main purpose is, of course, it does damage to infantry if you want to use it, but its main purpose actually is to purposely heat up the mech. Because if you heat up the mech too much, it will destabilize its power source and cause it to explode.
Fun.
If you heat it up way too much, the fusion reactor explodes, destroying the mech. Or you could ignite any of the ammo, like for your machine guns or your rockets, causing it to explode.
Woo. Let's go.
Yeah, and then you got your autocannon, which is the primary gun for most of BattleTech, and it's giant, explosive, armor-piercing, big guns. Well, you got ammo. It goes into the gun. They fire the gun. It hits the target, and it will do damage. And then the other important thing is called the particle projector cannon.
All right.
Which is another big laser, but it consists of magnetic accelerator firing high energy protons or ion bolts, and its main purpose is to target mechs.
All right. Fuck the mechs up.
Yep. Yep, all these delicious things. So what is the armor to protect them? Well, they have special armor made with a special process of steel that is literally called diamond coated,
Hmm.
and that was the first version. And then they now have like Indo steel and whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The clans, of course, they made the clan stuff better because
Hmm.
they get to do a lot more. Their armor is a lot better because they're a lot lighter than the Innisphere at the start. They're a lot lighter and resist more damage, and their guns are better and it carried less space.
Hmm.
And then what they also brought in is the idea of the Omni Mech.
The Omni-Mech.
Yeah, so when a mech is
You
built
see,
in
when
a
Ben 10,
Mm-hmm.
you see when Ben 10 gets his mech, he has he has a little dial and he can turn it. And when he smashes it, he can turn it to any mech that's been made. So he can turn the Atlas or the Rifleman.
Hmm.
it started with it.
It started with an alien devices on his wrist. Alright.
Yeah, but really, what similar, actually, kind of similar in a way. So what Omnimix is so when a mech gets developed
Mm-hmm.
in a factory, they are built with all their weapons in the factory
Alright.
in one model. And what an Omnimech is like, no, that's not how it works.
Hmm.
Uh, that makes no sense. Why would you do that? If that mech gets just like damaged during campaign, and if you don't got that repart,
Mm-hmm.
too bad. Like you're screwed. So they made Omnimex, and Omnimex is that when the mech gets thrown into a factory,
Mm-hmm.
they are not built with guns that already attached. They put some of it, some armaments, but then they put in slots for what is called pods. And what a pod
Mm.
is that essentially a slot you could put any weapon on it.
Hmm.
So you are able to make a specialized, customized version of a standard mech.
Hmm.
Uh, but since it's made with interchangeable parts, you can
Mm-hmm.
easily attach it. The problem is that they're mostly designer mechs
Alright.
because in for a short campaign it's perfect, but when you get a long-going war, which is most conflict in the inner sphere, um,
Mm-hmm.
it's not great for you to give it to your average soldier. So Omni mechs are actually are reserved for like the top people.
Hmm.
Because what happens is that the pods get wrecked and stuff, and they can't or they couldn't find the interdimensional part to switch out the loadout. So now you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuck with a similar situation.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of talked about that's kind of the summary of some of the weapons
Mm-hmm.
in there, like the important stuff. Like there is some important like life support stuff to make them like survive in planets that are hostiles to humans and all that fun jazz. But that's
Mm-hmm.
like up to the individual mech, and some of them have like special sensors too, and special
Hmm.
equipment. Or like some are more designed to be stealth suits, so they have like special equipment to help with that. But anyway, that
Hmm.
we're going to go over briefly the chassis types. So basically,
Right.
what kind of the general ideas of what the mechs would look like. Your most common one is the bipedal mech.
Hmm.
It's the mech that you see commonly. It's anything on two legs.
Hmm.
Then you got tripodal.
Alright.
It has a three. It's the mysterious three-legged mech.
Mm.
Like, and they look like Metal Gears, or like mainly like the Metal Gear from Revengeance.
Mm-hmm.
So like, just imagine those type of mechs. Then you got a quadrupedal mech
All
or
right.
quad mech.
Mm.
You could probably guess how many legs it has.
I wonder.
Yeah, and so the thing about the tripod and the quadrupedal is that they tend to be more of the bigger class, the biggest class of mechs. So they tend to be very huge and require multiple pilots.
Hmm. All right.
So and then a one that is cool but is that is ineffective in the world of Battletech is the land air mech,
Hmm.
and that is your transforming mech.
Ooh.
It transformed from an aerospace fighter to a mech. So it's a Macross. It's like Macross, like some Gundams,
Zeta Gundam.
Jetfire. Yeah.
Ah.
But
Okay.
so you want to know why it's not as effective in the world of BattleTech?
Why?
It can't do well as a fighter, and they tend to be lighter in terms of armor and armament for
Ah.
being a mech. And in order to produce them, you need a very special part.
Hmm.
Um, so it was very. So it was in the time of the Succession War.
Mm-hmm.
It was slowly phased out. It was phased out,
Hmm.
and either the factories were destroyed, or to make that part, or they just got rid of them, or they just converted them into the mech form.
Hmm.
And that's how you get like the Phoenix Hawk.
All right.
And clans hated it,
Ah.
so
I wonder why.
they don't like fun.
Mm.
Then again, and when it comes to, I would like a land air mix to come back
Hmm.
and actually be good,
All right.
but I know that it will never be. And then you
Aw.
got the Quad V, which is mechs and combat vehicles.
Hmm.
It's a mech that's also that can transform into a combat vehicle, and they tend to be quadrupeds.
Hmm.
It's called the Quad V. So,
Hmm.
and then after, now we get to talk
Uh-huh.
about uh, mech categories.
Ooh.
So these are first we're gonna we so you got the light mechs, right?
Hmm.
So and light mechs tends to be least armor, but their big thing is they go fast.
Hmm. Gotta go
They're like the
fast.
fastest one. Yep, they go fast, but they tend to not have armor or guns that can really take down a mech. They're more of like they're great at support, like infantry or like support types,
Mm-hmm.
being supported. But you don't send a locust to take down an atlas.
Hmm. All right.
And then you got your medium. And then you got medium mechs. They're your most common mechs.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like solid all rounders. Like they're not too. They're fast enough. They're not too heavily armored, but they also have pretty good firepower. They can survive more often, but and they can be put into specialized roles in terms of their loadout.
Hmm.
And then you got your heavy mechs, which are
Hmm.
meant to be your meant to be
All
your
right.
tanks that they can take a lot of damage, but they also serve special roles. They tend to be more of a sniper role.
Hmm.
We'll get into combat roles later, but they tend to be more about your artillery.
Mm.
The ones you want to send in front is the assault mechs, and the assault mechs are like, for most of Battletech, is your heaviest class of mech. They're like the guys you want. They are super slow, but you just move them forward, and they will slowly approach the enemies while doing devastating damage to them with their guns.
Mm.
And then if they get close, they'll just stomp on them.
Huh.
Yeah, they'll literally stomp. Like
Just stomp on them.
The assault mechs is the Steiner scouts.
Ah.
Like, that's the preferred scouting method of the Lyran Commonwealth, is to just send in assault mechs for their scouting missions.
Just step on people.
Yeah, pretty much. While Kurita is just, their main battle tactic is bonsai charges by putting in all their pilots in light mix and human wave attack them. The survivors will be promoted.
Oh, so the tactic is literally just as we're just gonna send wave after wave of men until they finally give up.
Pretty much.
Ah.
Some commanders are smarter than that, but yeah.
Some of them are
Kurita,
smarter.
So Kurita, in terms of Battletech, tends to be the most commonly used as the bad guy in a Battletech story, especially early on.
Imagine Imperial Japan.
Oh. Did they commit the same amount of crimes as Imperial Japan?
Yes.
More or less.
Oh,
yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. It's Imperial Japan mixed with some Middle Eastern.
The funniest part
elements.
is that the Asian factions are all the evilest.
I would say the clans have a lot of evil. Oh wait, they are Asian inspired. That is true.
Yeah,
Battletech.
they're the con. we got the commie China, we got the communist Chinese, we got the Imperial Japans, and we got
what about North Korea?
That could count as that could count.
The Capellas are basically every communist
Asian country.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
Even Russia, you can count any. If they were commie, all the stereotypes are there.
You are not. You are literally a war. You are the children. They are wardens of the state loaned out to their parents.
Wow. That's wow. Sounds like a wonderful place to be.
Sounds like something people would do in real life.
Yep. So you got assault mechs, and then in recent times, there are some mechs that are called super heavies.
Super heavies.
They tend to be the biggest mechs.
All right.
And they tend to have multiple pilots, and they're very rare. They're not really a thing for most of the setting.
Oh.
Right.
How come?
Look, the amount of wars and attrition is in the world of Battletech. The amount of resources to build one of these things is very high. And also, and deploy. Most of the settings thing is why don't we have land-air mechs? Why don't we use mechs in space? It's it's mostly because we have some mechs that can work in space, not as well as an aerospace fighter. We'll just produce a lot more aerospace fighters. For that purpose. We just purposely built why build something big and bad when you can produce thousands of this other mech that we have? It's literally the World War II equivalent of Shermans and King Tigers tanks.
Mm.
Like you could build one King Tiger tank, and it could probably do a good job if it works. But compare that to a whole bunch of Shermans. The Shermans are gonna win.
Ah.
Because the Shermans are just good enough tanks that then you can do
Yeah.
some customization on top of it to make it better.
The Tigers are right, but you know it doesn't matter when you're one Tiger fighting against 6 Shermans.
And not just 6 Shermans that each have a different loadout.
Woo. Take
And
that,
not
you
to
German
mention
pansies.
the Tigers are not made with the internal parts aren't as good as the Shermans because the Americans are manufacturing monsters.
Right. So anyway, so now we can go into mech roles. So you got like the general idea, but but a lot of mechs are designed for specific purposes, and so these are like the mech roles that you can see a lot more. One is called a brawler, the first one.
Ooh.
Brawler.
All right.
But they're not what you think of when you. What do you think of when you would a mech brawler be?
I'm assuming something that's usually is up and personal when it comes to fighting.
Yes, you would think so, but that's actually a mistake. What a brawler is that they are basically mechs that are super heavy in their armor. So like they max out on the armor, but also their guns are long range.
Huh.
So their purpose is to actually kind of be like the anchor point, like where you can move your lance around it, like where the brawler mech is. That's where your back line is for your lance, because it could take a lot of damage and it has a good amount of firepower with a good enough distance to take out targets to provide support for the other mechs. Now, the up and close and personal mech is the second type, the Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut. Ooh.
Yeah, so the Juggernaut is also super heavy armor, but it's specialized in close range. So most of its weapons are close range weaponry. So the idea is that you're gonna have them lumbering towards the enemy, you know, taking all the hits, but once they get up and close, bye. And then also punchy punch.
Punchy punch. Alright.
Yep. And then another mech is called the missile boat. Guess what a missile boat does?
What does it do?
It's DACA. Ever heard of the concept of DACA? DACA,
yes,
DACA, DACA, DACA.
DACA.
But with missiles.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but instead of bullets, it's missiles. So essentially, they're just literally a platform that has a whole bunch of missiles. Its whole job is to just fire as many as possible on the target.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so they tend
cool.
to have missiles. They have like the most variety of missiles. Like they have like you go in a short range and long range, because their whole thing, fire away.
Far away.
They don't
all
care.
right.
Yeah, and so these three tend to be in the heavy to assault class next. The missile boat tends to be more on the heavy end. The most famous one is the catapult, which is literally just a walker, 2 legs. Actually, it's on this cover.
Oh.
Right. If you it's one of the mechs. It's basically just like 2 legs, a cockpit, and then 2 squared rocket things. Rocket platforms. And Messick, are you playing a game?
No.
Okay. I'm just hearing space bars all the time.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I'm still listening. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So then you got your scouts, and they tend to be the light mechs. You could probably guess why.
Hmm.
But you,
They're light. They're light mechs, so I'm assuming they don't really do much. They're pretty light, so
yeah, your
not
scouts
really
are your
much you can do with that.
scouts are basically speed.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is how fast they are,
Hmm.
and so they can outmaneuver the other mechs,
Mm-hmm.
like the heavier mechs, so they can go find their weak point and shoot them at the back. But if they get hit once or a couple times, they're out.
Hmm. All right.
And then you got your skirmishers,
Mm-hmm.
and skirmishers are your all-rounder mech essentially. So if you got like a specific mech role
Mm-hmm.
that is not on your lance that you need to fulfill, a
Mm-hmm.
skirmisher is a good choice. It's not so much. It's like a jack of all trades, master of none. It can't do something. It can't do one thing really well. So you need to have other mechs to support it. But it can do things adequately enough that if you use in conjunction with other mechs,
Mm-hmm.
it could do a lot of damage.
Mm.
Like the main idea of a skirmisher is to be like the heavy recon. So you got your scout, which is your recon. So your first,
Mm-hmm.
like they're the guys that goes out in front and say, "Hey, we find an enemy," and then your heavy recons are the ones that can go and maybe even confront the enemy to learn a bit more of what they can do, and then get back to the rest of the army alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final two are pretty similar. So you got the sniper, which is the forego speed. They're all about above average armor, but their main thing is to make a better weapon system and making big guns.
I need
Their
guns.
whole thing is to
Lots of guns. All right.
The rifleman is a prime example of it. It's literally just two legs, a cockpit, and four autocannons. Four autocannons that can be switched out for lasers.
I see. All right.
Yeah. So they could be like a daka daka daka, or they can have like more precise weaponry to take out targets. But their goal, they're on the back line firing shots. And it's like they have like above average armor, so they can take a hit, but you're not putting them up front. Strikers, on the other hand, are like snipers, but the reverse. So they're the close range guys. So they're the guys that you want to have like maneuvering around and doing damage to the enemy. So that's about it on the overview of mechs. Magic, what's your favorite type? Any favorite mechs?
Atlas. That's really cool looking.
Oh yes, the classic Atlas. It's like the new poster boy mech.
Okay.
It's poster boy for a reason. Here, I'm getting it up.
You're gonna show that.
Like originally, if you went by like the Mech Warrior covers, like it was originally, there was the catapult was a, and then the Timberwolf / Mad Cat. Timberwolf is the clan name.
Mad Cat.
So we're using Mad Cat. Yeah, we're not using clanner names.
When you said Mad Cat, though, it was like, some Mad Cat. You sound like disappointed by a 66.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's a mad cat. What's wrong with a
Look,
mad cat?
if it wasn't a clanner mech,
Uh-huh.
look, I'm biased against clanners.
Okay.
Like some of their stuff are cool, but I just have to be
But
reminded. I have to be reminded that the clanners are a thing.
oh.
As I said last time, not a big fan.
Oh, the mad cat. It looks like you're
But I think this is actually the Mad Cat 2.
Your electric
There's a-
boogaloo.
there's two?
Like much like modern day militaries, there's
Mhm.
generational
Mm.
um designs. Like they're further iterations. So I just did an overview. So like if you go for specifically, like the rifleman is like R1FN or no FL. And
The mad cat looks like an
like
209.
that.
It,
It
it looks
actually
like
does.
it looks like a net 209. You have 20 seconds to comply. Oh, there's the atlas. Oh, is it because the skull?
Skull's pretty cool.
The skull is cool.
Yeah.
Not to mention
Like-
it's a thick ass boy.
Mm.
Like one of my favorite mechs that I don't have yet is actually a cleaner mech is the Kodiak. I didn't mention that. But another one is the Battle Master.
The battle master. Ooh.
So it's one of the few mechs that actually that looks like it's holding a gun.
Mm.
I'm also a fan of the Unseen mechs. So Unseen are the ones that are based on animes, and
Holy shit, that thing has claws.
yep,
That's amazing. Are those claws actually practical? Like can it just start ripping cockpits out?
It could be. So actually, we did have a comment on the last Battletech episode to get further context for the Unseen mechs. So
Alright.
FASA, the company who invented Battletech, FASA,
Mhm.
bought the license to use several art designs from Macross and Fang of the Sun Dugram.
Mm.
But unfortunately,
Mhm.
they bought the rights from the wrong company.
Ah.
The company did not have the rights, and Harmony
Mhm.
Gold showed up.
Ah, Harmony Gold.
Yeah, lawsuits. So they were unseen, aka edited out of Battletech for a
Mhm.
while. But then when Kato's Game Labs came back, they brought them back with brand new designs to
Mm.
make it more original. So thank you, Terry Higgins 5077.
Ah.
It's yeah. So that's like in terms of the basic lore, we're done. This is actually a lot quicker than I thought.
Oh. Huh.
I think I was expecting to go more deep into the history section than not.
Alright.
But anyway, so I know a couple of things. So the next Lord of the Dunces we're gonna do for Lord of the Rings.
Are there any mechs though that like get physical in combat?
A lot of mechs can. So like the Kodak can definitely be physical.
Mhm.
The Atlas can be physical, but there is actually a couple ones that have melee weapons. So One of them is called the X-Man.
Hmm.
Yo, Charlie X.
Uh, and then uh, there's also a variation of the Black Knight.
Hmm.
That has an actual sword.
Mm. Ooh.
It's literally called the Clan Buster, by the way,
The Clan Buster. That's amazing.
because it was used for.
Oh my gosh, that thing just looks like a knight. I love it.
I'm not sure if that's official art or somebody did a fan art of it, but there are a lot of variations
Mm-hmm.
that no, it's called the Red Reaper, and it was used during the Word of Blake, and it was used by a major character. And it used a large shield and a large vibro blade for hand-to-hand combat, and then it had some other stuff.
Hmm.
But I think there is actually a Clan Buster, but I need to find. There. Okay, so the Clan Buster is. Yep, it does have a long sword for physical, but it doesn't.
Nice.
It doesn't say it was equipped with a shield, but you can easily make a shield for it. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Black Knight is actually also one of the first mechs I bought, but it wasn't like official. It was, oh yeah, a Mine Mini Factory.
Ah.
Like I'll show you. I threw it away because it was flimsy plastic.
Oh. That's a
Resin,
shame.
unfortunately, it broke. It was bendy. I do want to
Ah.
get it as again another one, but I want one with like a harder plastic
Hmm.
because I love
Oh.
melee.
Yeah, I love it when big robots just get physical.
Yeah, I would really hope with the Ilklan when they start making new mechs to
Mm-hmm.
kind of come up with that idea is like, yeah, you could still have like the long range weaponry, but
Mm-hmm.
also expand the close range. Like I want to see a mech with a pole arm.
Pole arm.
Yeah, like a
Like a
spear.
spear or halberd,
Ah.
a pole weapon.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe not or like weapons that are. I think it would be cool. So for the future of BattleTech, but I think it would be cool, at least for the Ill Clan or maybe the next era, is
Mm-hmm.
that the way technology is would be evolving would be that now weapons are no longer. You don't need to incorporate the weapon on the mech. You can take it out.
Hmm.
It's like yes, it's closer to like a mainstream anime mechas, which
Uh-huh.
I don't want like Battletech to completely go in that direction because it's cool as it is. But I think it would be
Okay.
just a cool idea. Is like yeah, they're kind of experimenting with this more.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. How about you, Match? Like, any ideas of what you would like Battletech to kind of explore a bit more with the mechs?
Maybe a bit more having the a bit more of an accentuation between the light mechs and the heavy mechs because they're all kind of bulky. So make the lighter ones a bit more.
Well, some of
No.
them are. They just made them. The thing is like when you actually pulled them out, the light mix and the heavy mix together, the heavy mix are actually just bigger. Like the light mix are actually very tiny.
Oh.
I
Like they
mean,
do accentuate. I think it's more the case of the artwork.
Huh.
When you see them individually, it's like, oh, they don't look like they look like similar sizes, but you pull out the game mini, the
Mhm.
game minis, or like artwork with them together, or
Mm.
even the descriptors in the books.
Mhm.
Light mix are very small
Mm.
because to emphasize their speed.
Mhm.
But I do understand. I do want to see like a better a way where you could just say, yeah, light mix can now have bigger guns, where it's like more plausible for a light mech in the
Can't you just make it
tabletop.
that guns are lighter now?
Yeah, you could. Uh,
I, I'll just say like, oh, even though it's a big gun, they're made out of a lighter material, so.
yeah, like especially with clan tech now, is very common now. It's like you can incorporate the guns more, but they also you have to incorporate that the armor is also available, so you still have that. So
All right.
it's just one of those things. It's like you kind of have to be. I just don't know if they kind of developed or have they made one in lore, like a variation,
Mhm.
to make that possible.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure it's possible that they did. What? Yeah, and so anything else?
Uh, mm, not anything that really comes to mind.
All right,
At least
so
not now.
so next episode we're going back to Lord of the Rings, and we're
Mm.
going to talk about orcs.
Ah,
Better
good
get
old
your Goblin
orcs.
Slayer better get your Goblin Slayer mode on because there's going to be some nasty details that you may
Oh,
not want to know about orcs.
ah, lovely.
And also your philosophy cap because even Tolkien struggled with orcs.
Huh.
But Genghis, the next
Mm.
Battletech topic. Where do you want to explore now? We explored the Mechs. We explored the general universe. What part of the universe would you like to go out and explore?
I want to know more about that fucking jihad.
Oh.
Why, why, why is, why is Comcast doing jihads?
We can do Comstar.
Yeah, alright. We'll just do Comstar.
Is that a can of worms?
Well, yeah,
Chingus,
it's
are you
one of the
ready to
pillars
have
of
a
the
leech?
setting.
Chingus, are you ready to have a leech? Put a leech on your anus, so your wrench can do a better job.
Okay.
Yeah, and also you have to cite the holy scriptures and bring out the sacred oils. It's like for those who are into 40k, yeah, the Adeptus Mechanicus and Comstar have they're very similar
They're very similar, but very different breeds.
Huh.
in very different directions. But we'll save that for later. So I hope everyone has a wonderful time listening to us rambling about mechs. So see you a little later.
See ya.